So while Tom was cautious to not suggest that all postures were a result of underlying emotions, he did highlight that there are some postures that we see that are sort of a signature of emotional patterns. A lot of the time. Not all of it. An interesting thing, though, is that he also suggested that often what we see are patterns on top of patterns. So if you see the sort of classic held startle response, which is sort of this hunched over position with the shoulders forward and the heart pushed back, the neck jutting forward, this position of protecting the important parts, the heart and the organs, this position of finding safety in an unsafe place. What you often see is remnants of that, which may have resulted from some sort of emotional experience in childhood, that are then covered up with an exterior, a musculature of strength. So, a lot of times you'll see super strong bodybuilder dudes who have this underlying alignment of the startle response, but on top of it is slabs of muscle. So they've created this fortress on top of a scared, weak foundation. What I think is super interesting about this is that we, as humans, are the only animals that I know of that can hold a emotional posture like this for 30 years. Other animals will go into a startle response. They'll go into this protection mode, this defensive mode for 30 seconds. They'll come out of it. If there was a traumatic event, they'll come out of it, they'll shake it off, and then they'll go right back to a calm state. They'll go back to an aligned posture. But we, for whatever reason, seem to hold on to these emotional patterns. And Tom is saying that this is because we have our internal world projects so heavily on the outer world. So our emotional world, our mental world, heavily influences how we perceive the outer world. One thing that I've heard Tom talk about before, Mr. Alexander, Aaron Alexander, or Portal talk about, is this idea of the shake. And this is, again, something that an animal might do during a traumatic event. So, a bird hits a window, they get completely jacked up by the window. What do? They ruffle their feathers, they shake it out. There's a wave through their whole body. And then they're back to normal. They're back to feeling good again. They're back to this bird mode of flying and chilling and whatever. We don't do that. We take injuries on. We get stressed out from work. As a result, we work out. We build all this tension, and then we keep it. We hold on to it. And the idea with a shake is that you're literally dissipating all that energy outside of your body. And this is something that, tribal cultures do, via dancing, this shaking, this bouncing up and down, just releasing all that tension. It's a physical, therapeutic release. So you may have seen Ito do this. I did this at one of his seminars, where you finish your training session with a 10-minute shake, where you're basically just bouncing up and down, dropping your weight, dropping all of your musculature to the floor, and then elastically bouncing back up and just going up and down and up and down. Just feeling this bounce. You'll know, because when you're bouncing, it doesn't require much effort. You're just bouncing, bounce, 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 bounce. And you'll feel all of the muscles in your body letting go. And by the end of this, you feel like you've just stretched for 45 minutes. All of the tension in your body is gone. So this is something I like to do every time there's a workout, or anytime I find myself holding a little bit of stress or something like that. Just shake it off.